Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing something I promised myself I would never do many years ago, and that is just do a quick little stream while I do some pools for Florabelle. So it's something that's been asked on my channel for such a long time. I was like, it has never once interested me. I'd rather just talk about the character and do it that way. So I'm going to be doing my pools. I have about 10 pools worth. And then once I'm done with that, then I will go ahead and talk about the character here. So we'll go ahead and get started. Done it a little bit differently than I usually do, in which normally I will take a look at the character and discuss them before I start doing summons for a character. I like to, learn a little bit about the characters and what all they could do and try to plan for the future, see if it's worth investing into. But as this character is one of the only ones I don't have left, I think I'm missing Burial right now. So yeah, it's not a super high priority for me to get Burial. Alright, there we go, that was Pity. So typically you do hit Pity for this, so it's kind of difficult to get these types of characters unless you are a spender. And I do, as always, recommend that you use your pools on the all hero banner instead of some of these other ones, just because of the way the mechanics work, especially since you could put A heroes inside of the banners as well, and that helps you to power level certain kinds of heroes, which I would only do if you were a spender or you've already maxed out all of your other characters. But I could definitely see it being a way to hyper progress your account if you are a spender. Alrighty, that was number 8, I think, for me today. So I think I've hit Pity twice now. We're gonna go ahead, I have 3 more pools left. We'll see if I'm lucky and could get it on a third one instead of a number 12, which it seems to be going for today. Alrighty, I'm getting a couple of characters that I need more copies of Damien for. I don't think I've ever used Valen before. Alrighty, so that was it. Very simple. I didn't get really anything here, so not enough diamonds, so I'll call that good for now. I got her twice. Maybe I'll get 5 more. We'll see. But as far as actually talking about her, that's what I'm interested in. Kind of basic design. I don't really care about designs though. Summon Spinny when a battle starts. Spinny inherits 80% of Flora's max HP, dealing 60% damage with normal attacks. It is a global range, so that is really good. Initial energy 0 with a 1.25 second cooldown. Spinny retreats to the pod when defeated and rejoins the battle after 10 seconds. And it's active. Flora selects a tile to summon Smashy to the ground, dealing 300% damage to all adjacent enemies and knocking them into the air. So it's kind of similar to what's her name, Cecia's summon of Mr. Kyle. Smashy inherits 220% of Flora's max HP, which is way more, dealing 120% damage with normal attack. Smashy takes 100% extra damage when under control effects. That is very interesting. I guess Smashy's supposed to be more of the tank. Florabelle casts a skill to remove all debuffs on Smashy and restores HP to full, commanding Smashy to smash the target area ground again. Alright, so it's similar to Mr. Carlisle. Spinny's normal attack increases from 10, so 10% increase when all 3 Patalia are in the battlefield. Summoning Smashy will instead trigger a coordinated attack from all Patalia, dealing 400% damage to all enemies within 3 tiles and knocking them. So that is a fairly significant upgrade. It's 100% more damage. Let's see, Smashy's normal attack is 80. 80 and 200%, so it's a 20% total increase there. 120% increases to 220%, so that's also a very significant increase. If we take a look at Cecilia for just for some comparison purposes, alrighty, so she's doing 170%, which is less. I think the other one gets 220% at highest, so normal attack is 185, but I think that one of the things is Mr. Carlisle does AoE damage, which I'm not sure if Smashy will do AoE damage, because if so, that would be pretty good. Here it's the 1 tile arc, so it doesn't seem like Smashy will. Extra 45% max HP, but loses 4 HP. When he's summoned again, does tangled enemy to enemies within 2 tiles, 140% damage per second for 2 seconds. So that's 280% damage plus 170%, but it increases all of Cecia's stats. So that's where the bonus is for that. The skill restores HP to max, cast again, blah blah blah, 60%. Okay, so somewhat different. I'll say same but different. So far it's kind of meh so far, but it is for a a wilder comp, so I imagine it'd be pretty good if you're doing with Iron on maybe Arden as well. We'll have to see what else she has for us. So 14-second cooldown, also Globo, feeds a battalion with the Petal Plum to transform them into a giant for 8 seconds. They'll gain 60 extra haste and life drain. With multiple battalion on the field, this skill targets them in the order of Smashy, Swifty, and Spiny. So the life drain goes up to a total of 100. Doesn't look like haste increases at all, and the giant form duration, an extra 2 seconds, is pretty big. Let's do some simple math here. 80 divided by 100. It's a 20% increase, I guess, which is not too bad, but every bit counts. Florabelle increases her attack by 10%. During the battle, she gains an extra 10% when at least 2 of her summons are in the battlefield. So in total, that is 18% plus an extra 8%. So for a total of 26%. So that's kind of similar to some of these other healers that we have here. I guess I have her in the recruiting hall. I could check her through here. So that is reminding me of Damien's skills here. Which one is it? So he gets an increase of 20% attack during the battle. So that's fairly decent, I guess, since she is a support character. I think a warrior, physical warrior. Okay, she's feeling more like a support character to me, as warriors typically aren't more of our, I guess, full-on damage dealers. If we go on and check them, yeah, I guess out of all of these, Corrin is the only one who's really a true damage dealer, and I guess kind of Scarlita for PvP, but even then not quite so much. And I guess Cecilia, she's technically a marksman, so she doesn't really fit in with that. So it's kind of weird for her to be considered a warrior. I was not expecting that. I was expecting more of a support or even a mage class character. Alright, let's continue moving on and see what else changes here. Summon Swifty in the back. Swifty has a 6-tile attack range and inherits 45% of Florabelle's max HP, and its normal attack deals 80% damage casting skill while Swifty's already on the field, and initiates Swifty's rapid fire, unleashing 8 arrows at random targets. Okay, the random targets, I do not generally like characters that do random targets unless it is a single target enemy. Then it can be a little bit more useful. The 6-tile attack range is pretty good. That will cover pretty much most of the map. Not quite all of it. Let's see, cannot be summoned again for the next 8 seconds after being defeated. So the normal attack increases from 80 to 95%. Normal attack to 110%, so it's a slight increase. The damage of each arrow is 8%, so it's an 18% when she casts rapid fire. So that is just kind of additional damage. So the issue is when you're at higher levels and the enemy has more defense, if you're doing smaller attacks but rapidly, you're doing a small amount of damage a lot. So it's not really adding up quite as much as when you have some of these things which is doing larger numbers. 400% damage subtracted from defense is going to be a much bigger number than a smaller number subtracted from a large amount of defense. That's something I'm always wary about when it's these types of things here. Alright, so we already covered the attack, so in all 26%, that is a fairly substantial increase, so we'll have to see how that plays out when looking at her main stats. I'll take a look at that and put it in my calculator later. I'll just see how it's doing. Grants a natural blessing to allied summons upon their entrance to the battlefield, providing them with a permanent shield capable of absorbing damage equal to 280% of Florabella's attack. Okay, so I guess that would be pretty good for the third one, which is going to be probably Swifty? No, it's probably going to be Smashy, because Spinies are automatically inside of the battle. Then you'll get Tiny Sharpshooter going, and then once her ult procs, then that'll be Smashy. So it's going to be Smashy is the one who's coming in with the shield, and then anybody who's resummoned is going to be getting the shield. The skill can be activated once every 0.5 seconds. Let's see, boost the shield granted to 330%, okay. Feeds the allies summoned with the highest attack with an unripe Petal Plum, which Florabelle cast Overgrowth when she casts Overgrowth. Okay, so that's this one. Alright, what does it do though? This transforms the summon into a giant, increasing their haste by 27 and their life drain by 32. So Overgrowth does a random character based on this order. So this one seems like it'll either stack or it'll do 2 characters at once. It doesn't say how long the duration on it is, just once they cast Overgrowth. So I'm assuming that it'll either stack with this or it'll just be added onto a second character. It would be pretty cool if it is a permanent addition while they're alive, because then that might be, you know, a double giant growth or something like that. The shield granted by the skill is 330% to Florabelle's attack. Okay, so again, this is kind of weird because typically you want like a damage dealing character to do damage, but as a warrior, she's kind of like in a frontline position with this. But I don't know how I feel about that mythic. Maybe this one right here, the level 10, might be pretty good. Definitely not worth it to go 15 for her. Even then, I don't know what type of priority she would get. Allied Patalia in their giant form are immune to control effects. Okay, so that will be negating this, where a Smashy takes 100% extra damage while under control effects. The immune to control effects are always very strong, especially during PvP, so I think she could likely find a place in the PvP meta, but I don't know what she would replace, because you already have a fairly good loadout here. So it's typically Thorin, Carolina, and then it's going to be Iron, and then Arden. Where's my Arden? Arden. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your healer. Your healer is either going to be like a Damien, usually, because he also grants haste as well. So for her to fit into that, I mean, she isn't really taking the place of anybody right now. Maybe if Spiny only has 80% of her max HP, and so I don't imagine it's going to be that big of a thing, unless she could somehow get her ultimate going at the very beginning. So she might have a better use in Honor Duel, where you have more gimmicks for that than you would in regular PvP. Anyway, that's going to be my summary for her right now. I'll go ahead and get my daily affinity likes going, and I'll end the video there. Thank you all for stopping by.